Alright everybody, we got a new Crossout patch. My name is HORIDRAKES and welcome to this video. We're just gonna briefly talk about the new patch because there is a lot of exciting stuff coming for Crossout. One patch that I am especially just so excited for. This is a much needed change for the game, so really hoping that this will bring us a lot of new good stuff. Let's dig right into the patch notes and just talk a little bit about what we know so far and what we can only hope for. As of right now, I don't have access to the PR test server, but hopefully that is gonna happen before this releases, so keep an eye out on the channel at all times. Subscribe if you're not done that already, and I'll try to get these news to you as quickly as possible because we might get lucky and get a view of this before it actually releases on the live servers. So update 0.11, nope, update 0.12.00 amusement park is scheduled for next week, September 24. So that will be next Thursday. This means that it's briefly time to talk about the main changes and the new features that await us. First of all, we're going to get a new battle pass. This battle pass is called amusement park. This is going to be a little less, I think, of content when it comes to weapons and new cabins and stuff, even though they did spoil for us a new legendary cabin, a new homing missile, as well as new wheel of epic rarity. Right now what we've seen is that this new legendary cabin is inspired by an old helicopter something. It looks very interesting with some Ravager styling onto it, as well as a new homing missile. We have only, I think there's been a couple of leaks of it, but nothing really official. And then a new wheel of epic rarity, which also looks like something that is Ravager's inspired. Now the season is called amusement park, so it's not going to be a Ravager season, which I personally thought it would be in the beginning when they showed us the new legendary cabin. But nevertheless, in this season, you can get objects for building your own range in the test drive zone as you level up. All those who dreamed and asked us about the opportunity to build their own obstacle course, create a funny structure, or add special devices that will allow you to measure the DPS of certain weapon and collision force when your vehicle collide with the enemies, that's all for you. And we are sure that you will find many other different applications for this innovation. For example, we cannot wait to see what our best wasteland engineers are capable of. One of the interesting innovations is that now, with the battle pass, leveling up above the maximum level during the event is more practical. For each subsequent level obtained, you will receive a special container for which you can get 3 objects for construction on your range. More completed tasks equals more experience equals more containers, and accordingly more objects for construction. In addition, as part of the event, you'll be able to unlock recipes for a new legendary cabin, a new homing missile, and new wheel of epic rarity. Now what I think this then means is that we're going to get new containers as well. These containers can likely be obtained from maybe engineer badges once this battle pass is over, but for the people who play for longer than what the battle pass gives us regular levels for, you're still gonna get rewarded. This is very nice because I've seen many people who go above level 100 on the battle pass during these seasons, and that is not too hard to do if you play every day in Crossout. Besides that, we're also gonna get 2 new roles. One is called head-on and one is called cannon fodder. Head-on is gonna be only contact melee weapons. It's gonna be, I think it's pretty much just all of our harvesters, boss saws, borers, the mauler, the lacerator, all those thingies. It says here that you cannot use explosives, which means spears. Spears are not contact weapons, but explosives. So everything besides spears, I suppose. Only vehicles with coarse turret or plasma cannons will be allowed into the cannon fodder. So it's going to be a melee and a cannon only brawl. This replaces the storm warning and the free for all mode as of right now. Storm warning because everyone just teams up, and if you try to attack anyone, well then you get killed by all of the people teaming up. I do not know why people do this. It's so freaking random, but it's just been a problem for so long. So very nice to see that they are actually doing something about that. The brawl race will now also be divided into hovers and cars only, so one time window in the brawl schedule, only one type of race will be held on one of the available maps. So that's going to be split up, something that some people have asked for as well. And then we are looking at a bunch of work on the maps. Now this worries me a little bit. The main thing that worries me is that they're going to take out Ship Graveyard and Old Town. Seeing that Old Town will get a complete rework is, in my opinion, just so great because the map is terrible. It's a great map for small PS and low PS and small builds is what I'm trying to say, and it's in general a very fun map when you play those tiny builds, but as soon as it comes to Clan Wars, the map is just utter trash. Most of the builds that you run there besides melees can just not fit in through all of those tiny gaps, and you get stuck and you ram into everything, and the spiders cannot maneuver through half of the map because the map is just not big enough for it. So the complete rework there is super dope. Ship Graveyard, the map will be redesigned for the new realities of battles with destructible objects. So my personal guess here is that Ship Ship Graveyard and Old Town will get destructible, like bigger environments. Maybe, this is still only a guess, but Ship Graveyard, maybe some destructible ships. Old Town, maybe destructible buildings. Who knows? Would be funny to see though if they actually do that. My worry here and my concern is the fact that these two are both Clan Wars maps. So this leaves us with what, 3 different Clan Wars maps? What is it? Founders Canyon, Broken Arrow, Power Plant, and are there anything else? I don't remember right now, but Bridge. Okay, so we have 4 left, so that's 4 out of 6 instead. So that's a pretty huge reduction. And I mean, not a huge fan of Bridge either. So if it's going to be Bridge, then it's going to be a lot of slow sessions because everyone camps on Bridge. That's just a fact. So we'll have to see what happens here. Hopefully, maybe most people can come to an agreement to not camp and just get it over with if we have to play Bridge all session long. And then finally, Fortress. We're also planning to rework the visual appearance of the map. The map is looking kind of old. It's been in the game forever, so it's also nice to see that they are changing that one. One of the most exciting news, and the one that I think most people are waiting for, is right here. The Mandrake Howitzer. Now, if the tilt angle of the Mandrake's barrel is too small relative to the horizon, a warning sound effect will be played. In this position, the Howitzer will fire only 1 shot instead of a barrage of 5 consecutive shots. You can still play Horizontal Mandrake, but you'll be able to shoot 1 shot at a time instead of 5. I'm really excited to see how this changes the leaderboard, because a lot of people have just absolutely been stomping Clan Wars because they just brought a team of Mandrakes and let them do the work, and then they sit back at their base and just kind of wait for it. We've done it ourselves. It's just so freaking effective. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens basically. Besides that, the Quasar and the AGS 55 Impulse are getting a little bit of a change. So the Quasar actually gets a new perk here now, which means that the every 100-meter distance they had to hitting the target reduced the reload time by 17%. So that's really nice. So you can halve the reload if you hit from 300 meters, which is in my opinion quite interesting. I really like that change. It's very nice. And the Impulse here, explosive damage is planned to be reduced by 17%, and a new perk, 5 successful hits, damage of the next projectile will be increased by 50%. So it no longer has that when you sit still, then you can fire for longer. Changes for wedge vehicles. Compared to the last test, 1 change is planned. Now the effect of cars with hovers on the wedges will depend on the proportion of other chassis installed on the vehicle touching the ground. If the vehicle has 4 hovers and 1 wheel that does not touch the ground, then such a vehicle will not affect the wedge. So if you have a hover with a wheel onto it, well then if the wheel is just there for tonnage purposes, might want to consider why we have to put wheels on a hover at the first place. But that's another discussion. I know if I say buff hovers, then everyone is gonna rage at me, and I don't necessarily think that they should be buffed, but just the tonnage is a bit weird, but that is what it is. But if the non-hover chassis touch the ground, so if you have a wheel on it and that wheel actually touches the ground, well then the share of wheels will the amount of weight that you will affect the wedger. So the person who wedges you. So if you wedge a hover, the build won't be affected. If you wedge a hover that has 1 mechanical leg that touches the ground, well then 1/5 of the weight will be applied to the wedge, because you have 4 hovers and 1 mechanical leg. So if you had 2 mechanical legs and 4 hovers, then 2/6 or 1/3 would be applied to the wedge. That's pretty much it. And then finally, they're just ending off with this, which I also think is relevant to mention, that unfortunately due to technical issues, the Black Wings update was not released on PS4. There's been a lot of problems with PS4 in general, as far as I've heard. So it's not that they've forgotten PS4 by any means, and I really hope that you guys get it soon, but I think it's out of the devs' hands to really do much about it. But that is pretty much all for the changes. As I said, stay updated to the channel, because we might be able to get a look at the PR test server very soon. Until next time, bye bye.